coronavirus has continued to affect the world. The government at the federal level, state level, and even corporate organizations, traditional institutions, youth, and every other organization are responding to it. There are responses to this coronavirus pandemic across the world. Today, we are going to be examining the traditional institution, what has been the responses from the traditional institution. More so, there is a need for a local cure, there is a need for a local remedy. Oni of Ife, Oba Eneton, Adekunle Musi, recently entered that there are some local researchers that are working on finding cure to the coronavirus. He referred to it as Akoibure in Yoruba language, meaning a malaria that is a chronic malaria. Is it a chronic malaria? How far have they gone about this? Have they been able to find a solution? Is there a cure on the way? What is the remedy? What are they doing? And where is the encumbrances? Where are the hindrances against this local remedy? Those are the things we are going to be discussing today. This is Insightful Moments. I am Jare Tiamiyu. My guest today is a royal father, the chairman of Olowu Traditional Council and Olowu of Kuta, Oba Adekunle Makama Oyelude, Tegbosun III, the Olowu of Kuta. We are going to be discussing with him today. And the topic once more is coronavirus pandemic, responses and the search for local remedy. Stay tuned as we discuss with him. You are highly welcome back from that very short break. As I said earlier, our guest today is one of the most intellectually loaded traditional ruler we have in the country. The chairman of Olowu Traditional Council and the Olowu of Kuta, Oba Adekunle Makama Oyelude, Tegbosun III. Kabiyesi.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Today, we are going to be discussing coronavirus pandemic and the responses from the government and the search for local remedy. Kabiyesi, you have been an advocate of how we can, tackle this coronavirus pandemic. You have organized sensitization and you have actually distributed palliatives to people in your domain. You've done a lot of things that people are so much aware of. Kabiyesi, what can you say about the responses of the state government and the federal government at large to this pandemic?
Thank you very much. I think, do you want me to respond to the response of Osun State government or
yes, the response to the Osun State government and the federal government?
Okay. Osun State government has been very proactive since the outbreak of the pandemic up to this moment. Despite the competing demand for meager resources at their disposal, there is competing demand for the meager resources. Many sectors need the resources, but they've been very, very proactive. That is why I made a clarion call the other time I had a chat with you and your colleagues that the federal government should look at Osun as a struggling state that should be assisted financially. Because if you look at Osun State, we are so strategic in the sense that we have a lot of our sons and daughters in the diaspora, especially the Francophone country, like Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan to be specific, Benin Republic and others. And some of the index case, if I'm not mistaken, was someone from England.
Yes.
But since that period up to date, without a single dime from the federal coffers, and suffice to say that we have no corporate organization that come to our aid like Lagos State. Some corporate organization actually does, but if we prorata it into percentage, we'll be thinking of about 3% or 5%. In any case, we are very, very grateful to them as a state. But the state government has been very proactive in terms of enlightenment, in terms of providing the necessary PPE for the health workers, and in terms of even monitoring the numbers, and the isolation centers that Osun State provided are well equipped, and our doctors and medical personnel in Osun State, they have been the best so far. So the state government has tried their best under the given circumstances they found themselves.
What about at the federal level? We have the cases are rising, but some people are saying no. The federal government has been doing well. Can you say the federal government has been doing well in at least curtailing this, considering what is happening at even advanced countries where they are having thousands of deaths and hundreds of thousands of cases?
The federal government has been doing well, and they are still doing well, because the president has profiled a purposeful leadership that we need at this trying moment of our country, because it's not peculiar to us alone. Globally, advanced country that has even more wherewithal technologically, financial stability, this pandemic overwhelmed them. And if you look at it, a few weeks ago, the ECOWAS country or African Union come up with a pass mark on President of Nigeria. They said they gave him the champion of Corona pandemic fights because he has been doing well. Kudos to the Presidential Task Force led by the hardworking Secretary to the Government of the Federation. They have been doing well.
Yes, sir. Let's now come back to the people on the street. I can say your subjects, being a father of the nation, your subjects, the information people are getting, are they actually working towards it? And then today, we may be hearing from the president, maybe he was going to talk to us about the second phase of easing of the lockdown. Do you think what's the easing that we have now, people are actually doing well and they are complying with medical instructions?
Yeah, in the first instance, it is not as expected. The government expectation or the medical expectation of the populace,
yes,
it falls short of the international standard, WHO standard. When you say crowd mopping the bank, ATM, and other places like that, people jam packing still in the market, social distancing is not being enforced as it should be. But the second week, everybody has now realized that we have to live with this pandemic till the pandemic leaves us. As you are talking to me now, I am observing my strict medical precaution. That is, I'm wearing my face mask. The pandemic knows no big man, it knows no small man. It knows neither Christian nor Muslim. It knows neither APC nor PDP. This pandemic has really shown us certain things, that death is real, and that is only God. Nobody is big, nobody is small. You don't see our first class citizens flying abroad now for treatment any longer. We co-use the same facility we have in the country. So our religious leaders, I think with this pandemic, they too should also have a rethink. If you are an imam, that you believe you have what it takes, that no matter how, you will see your followers every now and then, they will come to you for one reason or the other. The pandemic has taught them, and they have not died in their respective place. If you're a pastor, that your congregation must see you every now and then, without that, they believe they cannot even survive. They are surviving, and the pandemic has not lived. You yourself, you are even bad. Our religious leader and ourselves and our subject are battling to survive. So the pandemic has really taught us a lot of lessons. And I believe after the pandemic, the country will come out stronger.
So let us now come back to the traditional institution. As I said earlier, you have done a lot of things that people are actually applauding you for, and even this is not the first time you have done it. You have done it even when there was no pandemic. What are the roles of traditional institutions in ensuring that all of us come together and fight this pandemic?
The role of traditional rulers, traditional institution, cannot be overemphasized in a critical period of a nation like ours. One, we are closest to the grassroots. Issue of mass mobilization and sensitization rests solely on us. Like we have always been doing, we directed our district heads, compound heads, ward heads to be abreast of the situation around them and to strictly follow government regulations as regards safety precaution associated with the pandemics. So, and I believe most of my colleagues on the throne are doing similar thing in their respective domain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kabesi. We'll go on a very short break. When we come back, we will discuss the issue of local remedy that Ooni of Ife Oba Enito Ogunwusi hinted recently that some traditional institutions are actually working to ensure that we have a local remedy, saying that this thing is Ako Igbono, as Yoruba will call it. And after that, I would like to have your reaction, very brief, on the crisis surrounding the siting of Federal College of Education in Osun State. Till then, please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back from that very short break. Our guest today once again is a royal father, the Olowu of Kuta, Oba Adekunle Makama, Tegbosun III, the chairman of the Traditional Council. Sir, not quite long, Ooni of Ife Oba Adekunle hinted that there can be local remedy to this pandemic, and the traditional institution can actually work to ensure that what our forefathers were given to the children that we call Ogun Iba, Ako Iba, Ako Igbono, can be used to treat this. And there has been some things, and the Ooni said they are working on it.
I think the federal government has responded to that. They are looking at that option, and it's the right way to go. So we should all rally around the Ooni as the inventor of that in our country. Having in mind that Cuba becomes successful in managing this pandemic because they believe in the local remedy. And if you look at it, Italy also welcomed Cuban doctors. Italy welcomed Cuban doctors, and some other country in the Middle East. So Nigeria can actually have the cure to COVID-19 and even export the remedy outside. Professor Morrissey, who has been shouting that he has a cure, let's test them. University of Ibadan, the botanical department there has been doing something. So let's look at alternative remedy. Just like Baba Oni is spearheading one, our other scientists and intelligentsia are also doing their bit. And thanks to the federal government, they've rolled out funds for such research now.
The issue with local arts before, they are saying the issue of dosage, and then they do not undergo these treatments the way they should.
When you look at it, the complaint by the orthodox medical practitioner has always been that our local herbs has no dosage. But don't forget that our parents used even the overdose of those herbal remedy called agbo to feed us, and we survived to today. When in this generation, I think if something is being discovered in that regard, especially virus-wise, it will come with more advanced innovation like this so-so meal, so-so dose. So-so meal, so-so dose. What Yoruba call agumu has no dosage. You just use your spoon and put in the pap and drink, and you are cured. But it's unlike you taking Panadol or Fansida. They say take 2, take 1. But our own traditional herb, God has so much blessed us with it. But there is a way they will streamline it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kabiyesi. We really appreciate that. Before I let you go, Kabiyesi, I would like to have your comments about the controversies that are actually trailing the siting of Federal College of Education in Olowu. I know you are one of the respected traditional rulers in the land, in Olowu. What is your comments about that?
Thank you very much. I think it calls for no controversy. The citing of federal institution is prerogative of the federal government. Because this is not a state institution we are talking about. With due respect to our father in Ila, the Honorable of Ila, and all our brothers and sisters over there, it's legitimate for them to agitate. But it's strictly prerogative of the federal government. Nobody protested when an apex police institution was cited in Ila. Nobody protested. Nobody protested when the state institution was cited here. So, like when the letter and the approval come in, I think the whole process started during Senator Adekunle tenure at the Senate. It only crystallized now. The whole process have started during that last Senate session. And some of us made some inquiries. We kept quiet and watched how the situation unfold. As it is, we saw 2 letters last week. I personally confirmed before making a comment or any update on it on social media. Those who are even looking for controversy are the architects of the forged letter. They are the one causing controversy. What are we getting it? Osun State we are a united entity. Iwo has never had any federal institution. And what we're even talking about, it's not meant for Iwo as a town alone. It's meant for the 3 local governments. So this is not even the time to agitate or to protest. Are we saying this Iwo federal constituency is not part of the state? Iwo federal constituency is part and parcel of Osun State, and we've been and this federal constituency has been contributing their quota meaningfully, effectively, both human and financial resources to the growth of the state since inception. And to our people in the whole federal constituency, this is a true test of, are we Iwo land? Are we Ayiwola? If we are truly Ayiwola, this institution will be cited in a location centrally connected to 3 local governments. So if it is not cited in a place that connects the 3 local government, then it means the so-called Iwo land or Ayiwola is a ruse. It means it's a fraud. If it's not cited in a place that connects the 3 local governments. So we are not even talking of agitation or protest over there. In any case, that has been done. Our leaders in the land knows. Our leaders in the land knows the truth. But some of our brothers, I have pre-information. Some of our brothers in the State Assembly and the Federal Assembly there trying to make politics out of it.
Okay.
I know.
So we can say
our leaders know.
All the protests were actually politically motivated.
No, it's politically motivated.
Okay.
It's stage managed. It's stage managed to hoodwink Bababisi Akande into going and relobbying Mr. President to the site there. But Bababisi Akande is an elder statesman. Anything that is due for this federal consensus, Bababisi Akande will not, because of clannishness, deny us of that.
Thank you so much, Kabisi. I think that last part of the interview is very, very important, considering the fact that it has become the talk of the town in Osun State now. Everybody wants to know which is authentic, which is fake.
No, Iwo is authentic.
With what you have said, we actually believe that, and I know that the message will go far in ensuring that there is peace in the state, most especially the people that are protesting in Iwo. Kabisi,
no, Iwo are not protesting.
The people that are protesting in Ila, I'm sorry.
Yeah. When you can only see protests in Iwo is when it is cited only for benefit of Iwo alone. That is only when you can see semblance of protest. And the semblance of protest is not going to be a brigandage.
Yes.
It's going to be intellectually based, that we will know that there is nothing like a bound within the three local government. Again, this is just a test case.
If we call it Iwo Federal Constituency,
thank you,
and there is a project for Iwo Federal Constituency, it must serve the people of Iwo Federal Constituency. I think I get that one from Kabisi. Kabisi, once more, we appreciate the time and we appreciate this moment. As I said earlier, it has been a very, very interesting and refilling session with Kabisi, the Olowu of Kuta, Oba Ahmed Adekunle Makama Oyelude, and the chairman of Owo Traditional Council in the country. Kabisi has been speaking to us for the last 25 minutes. We appreciate that. And some other time when we come your way, please ensure you stay safe. Thank you.
That has been a wonderful session with Olowu of Owo Kuta, Oba Ahmed Adekunle Makama Tegbosun III. He spoke a lot about how far they have gone, and he has actually said the federal government has given a nod that they can go ahead and have this local remedy for coronavirus. He also spoke about the controversial Federal College of Education, and before I sign out today, I would like to talk more about that. It's very, very unfortunate that some youth in Ila, they went ahead to protest and destroy some properties, especially considering the fact that they attacked the residence of the former governor of the state, Chief B.C. Akonde, the House of Representative member representing Ila Federal Constituency, Honorable Femi Fakeye, and even they destroyed the vehicle belonging to House of Assembly member representing Ila State Constituency, Honorable Lateef Adebisi. I think as a youth, we can do more than this. We can actually engage people intellectually. This is very, very bad. More so on the issue of letter. As you can see, we have two letters. The first letter, Kabisi has confirmed that is actually from Federal Ministry of Education. While the second letter, the permanent secretary of Federal Ministry of Education said they don't have any sign of a coat of hand in their letter, and there is nothing like watermark. And that government approved is also not always on their letter. And even just a mere glaring at it, you will have known that this letter was forged by someone. But there is something I want to say. The state governor, Mr. Goyitola, and his media team, they're supposed to have come out and clarify this. We can't continue just keeping silence when there is crisis on ground. There is crisis already, whether we like it or not. At this point, the silence of our governor is not good. There is a need for him to speak and tell us which letter did he receive. Is it Iwu or Ila? As we wait for him, I want to say, please continue to stay safe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Insight Links TV. Like our page on Facebook, Insight Multilinks Media. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Insight_links. I want to appreciate my crew member. It has been a very wonderful moment working with you guys. Mayowa Ajayi at Mayowa Ajayi on Facebook. Idowu Bamidele, Said, and all other crew members. Thank you for working with us. This is some other time when we come your way. From Mayowa, Idowu and Said, we say have a wonderful time.